Deep within a sprawling forest, where ancient trees reached skyward and the ground was carpeted with lush green moss, lived a lion named Asgar. In his younger years, Asgar had ruled the jungle with unmatched might and authority. His golden mane gleamed in the sunlight, and his roar sent shivers down the spines of all creatures, from the smallest rabbit to the largest elephants. Asgar was not just the king of the jungle, he was its protector and its most fearsome predator. But time is a relentless force. The proud king who had once ruled the jungle was now left alone and hungry, lying under the shade of an ancient banyan tree. One day, as Asgar rested under the tree, his stomach growled loudly, a painful reminder of his hunger. The lion knew he had to do something if he wanted to survive, but his body was no longer capable of chasing prey. As he stared at the forest, an idea began to form in his mind. If I cannot hunt with my strength, he thought, I will hunt with my wits. A king must always find a way. The next morning, Asgar limped back to his cave, groaning loudly to make his weakness apparent to any passing creature. Once inside, he laid down near the entrance and began to fake an illness. He moaned pitifully, letting out soft growls as though he were in terrible pain. His plan was simple yet devious. He would spread the word of his illness throughout the forest. The animals, believing their former king was dying, would visit him out of sympathy. Once they entered the cave, he would pounce on them and make them his meal. To set his plan in motion, Asgar waited until a curious monkey passed by the cave. Summoning what little strength he had, he called out weakly, "Oh, friend, please help me. I am gravely ill and cannot move from my cave. Spread the word to the other animals that I may not have much time left. Perhaps they will come to bid farewell to their old king." The monkey, though wary of the lion, was touched by his pitiful state. He nodded and swung away, spreading the news through the jungle. The animals, who still respected Asgar for his former greatness, were filled with concern. "The mighty lion is dying," they whispered to one another. "We should visit him and pay our respects before it is too late." The first to visit Asgar was Milo, a kind-hearted rabbit. Milo hopped nervously toward the cave, his long ears twitching as he approached. "Oh, mighty King Asgar," he called out timidly, "I have come to see you in your time of need." "How are you feeling today?" Asgar, lying near the entrance, let out a weak growl. "Thank you, little one," he replied in a hoarse voice. "It warms my heart to see such kindness. Please come closer so I can speak with you properly." Milo hesitated for a moment, but eventually stepped inside. The cave was dark and damp, the air heavy with an unpleasant smell. As the rabbit moved closer, Asgar suddenly sprang to life, his claws gleaming in the dim light. In an instant, Milo's fate was sealed. Over the next few days, Asgar's plan unfolded perfectly. Word of his illness spread, and more animals visited the cave, each one falling victim to his deception. A curious deer, a trusting squirrel, and even a colorful parrot were lured into the trap. Asgar feasted on his unsuspecting visitors, regaining his strength and congratulating himself on his cleverness. "This is far easier than chasing prey," he thought with a sly grin. "I may be old, but my mind is as sharp as ever." However, not all the animals in the jungle were so easily deceived. Zane, a clever and cautious fox, heard about the lion's illness, but found the story suspicious. Why have so many animals gone to visit Asgar but never returned? Zane wondered. Something doesn't add up. Determined to uncover the truth, Zane decided to investigate. Early one morning, he approached the cave but stopped several feet away, his sharp eyes scanning the ground. The area around the entrance was littered with footprints leading into the cave, but there were no tracks coming out. "This confirms my suspicions," Zane muttered. "Asgar is not sick. He is hunting in the most deceitful way." Standing at a safe distance, Zane called out, "O mighty King Asgar, I have heard of your illness and have come to pay my respects. How are you feeling today?" Inside the cave, Asgar's ears perked up at the sound of Zane's voice. He knew the fox was intelligent and would be harder to fool. Still, he replied in his weakest tone, "Ah, Zane, my loyal friend. How kind of you to visit me in my time of need. I am indeed unwell and may not have much time left. Please come closer so I can see you and thank you properly." But Zane was not so easily tricked. "I would gladly approach, Your Majesty," he said, "but I have noticed something strange. There are many tracks leading into your cave, but none coming out. Can you explain that to me?" Asgar was caught off guard. He stammered, trying to think of a convincing reply, but Zane had already turned and trotted away. "Your deception will no longer work, King Asgar," the fox called over his shoulder. "I shall warn the others to stay away from your cave." True to his word, Zane spread the news throughout the jungle. The animals, horrified by the lion's betrayal, vowed never to visit him again. Asgar, once feared and respected, was now isolated and despised. His cunning plan had backfired, leaving him to face the harsh reality of his old age alone. The forest returned to a cautious peace, and the animals learned an important lesson about trust and vigilance. Zane, hailed as a hero, continued to live a life of wisdom and cleverness, earning the respect of all who knew him. As for Asgar, the once mighty king, he spent his remaining days in solitude, a tragic reminder of the consequences of deceit. His hunger and loneliness were a fitting end for a lion who had traded his honor for a few fleeting meals.